Afternoon. Well, for Monday evening, I've got a bit of a general roundup of news bits and stuff that's landed in my inbox. I've got 10 stories, I think. So they are rain, rain, go away, food inflation here to stay, a lorry full of batteries burns in France, a lorry full of batteries burns in the USA, some questions about whether the media are reporting the cause of the fire on different stories in the UK, strange things going on at national highways. Do electric Volvos have a problem? Cornwall Bus fares, an allotment eviction. What's going on with trains? My Land Rover Defender needs a new engine. And why are cycling businesses going broke? So it's a little bit of a whistle-stop tour around a few different subjects. So let's dive straight into it. Right, I've got to confess, I wanted the number of stories to be 10. And I only had 9. So I opened my Facebook and I immediately saw a post which was a screenshot which said this: English harvest is the second worst on record due to excessive rain. Now think about what this is likely to do to prices and food security. Climate change is here and it's affecting how we live in ways both dramatic and more subtle. Climate change, apparently, is the reason the weather is constantly terrible. It's got absolutely nothing to do with weather manipulation, but I don't really want to talk about that on this channel. But if I look up, it is a complete blanket of grey. It is genuinely... Do you remember Microsoft Paint, right? You used to get the paint bucket mode. You get it on paint bucket mode, choose a sort of dark grey and click paint bucket across the whole page, and then your whole page. That's exactly what's been done. Anyway, that is rain, rain, go away, food inflation here to stay. Let's do 2 lorry fires, lorries full of lithium batteries. October the 4th, 2024, the Kaylar motorway area, probably said that wrong, on the A75 motorway had to be closed and evacuated. A truck carrying car batteries is on fire. For the moment, the origin of the fire is not known. Fire broke out in a semi-trailer type truck transporting electric car batteries on the A75 between Montpellier and Millau. Although everybody said that I say Millau wrong, Millau. This loading is particularly dangerous due to the risks associated with flammable and toxic materials. The Kaylar area had to be closed and evacuated. Nearly 40 firefighters were on site to extinguish the truck, and at the time that this article was written, there were no other details. But there's another one in the USA on September the 17th. A wreck between 2 semi-trucks sparked a fire involving a load of batteries. The accident happened early on September 17th near Indian Springs, Nevada, near mile marker 13 on Highway 95. According to 8 News Now, a tractor-trailer hauling wood. What you hauling? I'm hauling wood. And a semi-truck hauling lithium-ion batteries collided in Nye County, sparking a fire, and the road was closed for 24 hours. So, 2 lithium battery fires, and that is on top of all the other lithium battery fires that are going on at the moment, and scrapyards. There are more scrapyard fires in 2024 than ever before. Staying with the fire theme, right, I got this email. Hello, Geoff. I was a Tesla fanboy. Let me not bother you with the details, but let's get straight to the point. I've noticed some news articles about burned houses, and let me quote this. The fire started at the garage, and half the house burned down. Even the car in the garage burned down. Do you notice anything strange? There's another article here. A house burned down, and also the car burned down. 5 children lost their precious belongings. Here are the bank details if you want to help them. Whenever the house or flat burns down, there's an investigation, and they always disclose what caused the fire. For example, a gas leak. But do you notice now they don't disclose the cause of the fire? So basically, this person is insinuating or implying that in news reports now, where an electric car has been involved in a fire, the electric car is not being named. And I've seen this before as well. I think I've mentioned this before on my channel. There was a case where there was a caravan fire on a caravan park last year, and it was reported as the fire started in the caravan and spread to the car, where in actual fact eyewitnesses said it was the other way around. It was the car that was charging that caught fire and then set fire to the caravan. But when the news media picked up the story, they twisted things around a little bit. So do we think there's an embargo on electric vehicles being involved in fires in the UK media? Well, yes, I think that's exactly what's going on. Another one here, there's 2 things that someone wants me to look at. Hi Geoff, I've got a few things for you to bring up if you would like. Strange goings on at national highways. Mr. GDB is a recovery driver from Staffordshire and has highlighted an incredibly dangerous act by the Highways Agency. They are no longer shutting down a lane with a red X on smart motorways for broken down vehicles or when leaving a refuge area. They're just putting an arrow up, and it's not on their website, and it seems that this is happening a lot. And also the video with his Dodge Ram recovery vehicle, it doesn't even pick up a stranded or broken down vehicle in lane 4. Check it out on his channel. There may be more for you to see that I haven't highlighted. So a change with national highways there. We know, you and I know, people that watch my channel know that smart motorways are dangerous, but people with an agenda are always happy to say that smart motorways are safe. So that's basically smart motorways getting less safe than they already aren't. The next one that this person sent to me was about this electric Volvo. Lots of people have sent me the story about the electric Volvo that launched itself out of a multi-storey car park, sadly killing the owner. Norway's EVs are failing too. Unfortunately, it's a Volvo involved. The XC40's gone rogue and driven through a multi-storey car park on the 4th floor. Unfortunately, the driver's passed away. When this was put out into the public eye, another owner came forward with another XC40, which took off and jumped a couple of metres, crashed into someone's garden. Luckily, the owner survived in that accident. I hope this helps. Carry on with your amazing channel. Thank you very much. So yes, I've heard this one about the Volvo. Guy did a great video on it, so I didn't feel the need to address it. Don't want to step on anyone else's content, but you need to know that this is happening. There are more than a handful now of stories of EVs self-accelerating. From self-accelerating, let's go down to Cornwall and look at bus fares, right? This is interesting. Cornwall bus fares rocket as one person fumes just by a car. So Cornwall Live readers have voiced their concern following a recent bus fare increase, marking the second such rise in 4 months. This hike has particularly troubled parents who depend on public transport for their children's journey to school. Basically, what's going on, and there's a link to the article down below. The Tory government previously had a cap on bus fares in Cornwall. I think it was at £2. But now that we no longer have a Tory government, they've removed the cap on bus fares, which means bus fares are now getting more expensive. Public transport is just getting ridiculous. So there were loads of comments on Facebook with many people saying it's now cheaper to run a car than it is to get the bus. And again, if you look at the agenda of they want us to save the planet and they want us to use public transport, well, they're not exactly making public transport accessible, appealing or affordable for people. So clearly the goal isn't to get us out of our cars and onto public transport. The goal is to get us out of our cars and going nowhere. Quick one on that as well. And there's another thing coming up about trains in a minute. Today I was looking at getting up to Kings Lynn, Anglia Classic Car Auctions. I looked at a train and it was £99, and then I thought, I wonder if I could fly into Norwich Airport, and I can get a flight from Bristol Airport out to Faro in Portugal, and then from Faro I can fly to Norwich, and I can do this all in one day. I can fly early in the morning from Bristol to Faro in Portugal, and then from Portugal to Norwich, and I can do that for 123 quid. So I may well do that when it's time to collect a car. It'd be funny to just fly to Faro, sit and drink coffee and edit video for 6 hours in the airport, and then fly back to Norwich to drive the car home. I just feel like that would be hilarious. Right, allotment eviction. Allotment owners face eviction after 130 years. This is from the Telegraph. There's a link below. Gardeners in Bath are devastated as the landlord ends the lease on plots tended by fruit and veg growers since 1894. Register your chickens. Stop growing your veg at home. Get out of the allotments. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. You'll own nothing and be happy. You'll go nowhere and be happy, and the government will provide your food for you. Another one about the trains then. What is going on with trains? This is from my local Facebook group. This is Malvern in Worcestershire. Basically, Malvern is you have to get a train to Worcester to then go to Birmingham, or you have to get a train from Malvern to Hereford to then go out into Wales. And the trains have been being cancelled regularly. And again, I say again, like they want to get us off our cars and onto public transport, but the public transport is rubbish and it's getting worse. Malvern Gazette, someone is calling on the newspaper, the Malvern Gazette newspaper. Maybe the Malvern Gazette would like to do an article on the shocking state of the not fit for purpose train service to London. My other half was up at 4:45 a.m. for a train from Great Malvern to London at 5:53, but it was cancelled at midnight due to engineering work. Most people are asleep at that time, if getting up 4 hours later. The next train was 3 hours later. When are the railways going to get a grip? Keep seeing this time and time again in my local Facebook group. There was a woman recently saying that her daughter needs to get to college on time, but the trains keep being cancelled, and her daughter is now getting late strikes for college, but cannot get there because there are no trains, even if they are advertised. So what is going on with trains? Right, winding up now to our last two stories. This one's an anonymous one. Defender needs a new engine. I have just been told my Defender needs a new engine. It's less than 4 years old and it's done less than 50,000 miles. I've been offered 80% towards the cost, £23,000 for a new engine. He says they clearly know that there's a design fault, otherwise they wouldn't offer such a high percentage. I am furious. I would be furious if my old Volvo needed an engine when I paid 1,500 quid for the car. I would be even more furious if my brand new, less than 4-year-old Land Rover needed a £23,000 new engine. So, yeah, it's all still happening. I think there's so much more to say about the Land Rover Ingenium stuff. I'm going to try lay off Land Rover for the next week, and we'll talk about, Toyota Hilux is being stolen and Toyota Yaris GR engines exploding. Lastly, I want to talk about why cycling businesses are going broke. And again, there's been a bit of a theme throughout this video. They want to get us out of our cars and onto public transport. They want to get us out of our cars and onto bikes. You know, you can take your bike on public transport. But I made some videos about this when I was in Spain earlier in the year, when I discovered that the cycling industry, although we might think because they keep ripping out roads and putting in bike lanes and all the trains are putting in bike parking and all that sort of stuff, we would think that bicycling was experiencing a boom. But as I discovered in Spain earlier in the year, many cycling businesses are going bust because the cycling industry itself is massively in decline. This is another one here. I'll read you the article. We'll do this one in a bit more detail. Major UK cycling distributor behind Oro Bikes enters administration, and all staff have been asked to leave without September pay. All staff at the UK-based cycling distributor iRide, best known for its popular in-house bike brand Oro Bikes, have been made redundant and are still without pay for last month after the company entered administration, sources have told road.cc. This is the website where I found this story. iRide distributed many major brands' products across the cycling industry, including those of Continental and De Rosa, and had last year moved to a new multi-million pounds facility in East Sussex. However, Road.cc has heard from a source the company has entered administration. All staff have been made redundant and asked to leave. The source also suggested nobody's been paid for September, a claim that is backed up by others. iRide's parent company Martlet Group has not commented, nor has the distributor itself. Martlet Group's company house pages so far is unchanged. We've contacted iRide for confirmation, and the accounts emerging from those formerly employed with the distributor but have not received a reply at the time of publication. News came as a shock to employees, with anger reportedly mounting about the situation, and on the surface there were few indications that the company was deeply troubled. Oro Bikes, iRide's flagship in-house bike brand, had an active Instagram account up to 5 days ago, and over the weekend Sir Bradley Wiggins was pictured riding an Oro bike as part of his Ride with Wiggins charity sportive, departing from Sandon Hall in Staffordshire. So, why are these bicycling companies going bust? Last year, fellow distributor More Large entered liquidation. They were the distributor for brands such as Turn Bicycles, Lake and Form, and going on a year from the long-running business being sold to the board of directors from the Moore family. That meant that 35 million quid's worth of stock was auctioned off, 35,000 bikes and 10 million quid's worth of bike accessories were listed via John Pye auctions, and that saw road bikes selling for as little as £110 and further huge discounts elsewhere as More Large's stock was shipped off at whatever price could be got for it. And then on top of that, just to finish this one up, 2 months later, Livingston-based distributor 2 Pure entered administration, and then another UK cycle distributor, Fly, ceased trading. Fly's distributions director Colin Williams was outspoken in the aftermath, citing the impact of Brexit, the complexities and restrictions surrounding UK and EU trading, and the difficulties facing the bike industry in the post-COVID lockdown period as the main reasons behind the demise. And he said, and this is great, if you voted for Brexit, please realise this is 90% because of your decision back in 2016. He said, I am done fighting, I'm done with the red tape and the barriers to trade. It hadn't been fun for some time, so the time was right to end it now. Life is too short. So he's basically giving up on his business because of Brexit. But again, I'm going to say it again for one last time. Why is the bicycling industry in decline if we are moving roads and putting bike lanes in? You'd think that everybody would be buying bikes and accessories and the bicycling industry would be experiencing a boom time, but we're not. So that is it. That is my roundup of stories that have been in my inbox and on my notes app for the last few days. Lots of cool videos up this week. I'm going to finally get around to doing some auction values videos. There is the podcast with James Ruppert that has been slightly delayed in going up online because I had a busy weekend with birthday parties and all sorts of whatnot involving family and squishmallows. So lots coming up this week. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and yeah, that's it. I've got nothing else to say. Oh, I've got a new Hot Wheels. This one from George, which is a McLaren F1. And I like to open my Hot Wheels because I do believe that you should finger them. So there's an unboxing here, and I've got to find a spot for it somewhere on my shelf because my purple shelf is full. So there we go. That is my brand new Mr. Bean McLaren F1 from George, and I will leave a link to my Mr. Bean McLaren F1 on where it is in the description. That is a nice detailed model, actually. It's even more detailed than the standard version of the McLaren, or maybe it's not, but it's definitely got the cool wheels on it. I don't know, the casting does feel like it's slightly better quality. So there we go, 2 McLaren F1s to finish the video. Thank you very much for watching.